that, even though the corporate community wants to hire from the LGBTQI plus community, they slot the folks from that who have the guts to come out and say they're from that community. They slot them in predominantly non-technical jobs, right? They would love them to do customer service, hospitality, sales, supply chain, but they would not put them in front-ending jobs. So do you think that, standing in 2023, there's still some level of discrimination that the people or the citizens of this community face, from different parts of corporate India?
Yeah, so let me take that question a little, like with some examples that have come up. So, for example, I can never forget that one of the first people, a trans woman that we tried to place in a company, this was one of our first attempts. We also were very new. Right now, as Solidarity Foundation, we have a very strong livelihood program, which is very well thought through and has very different components. We work with the individual, we work with the companies, we do skilling, we do upskilling, all of that. But back then, when we first started and we didn't know enough, the first person we sent out, she, somebody at a corporate said, we're open, we can hire, etc. So we asked her to reach there, and she reached. I remember very distinctly that the interview was at 2:30, and we asked her to make sure that she went there before 2 o'clock, and she was there. But the security person at the desk looked at the entrance, looked at her and said, "You definitely, what are you coming here for? Get out from here." And she then had to try to explain who she was. He wouldn't believe her. When she pulled out an ID card, the ID card didn't match how she presented herself because she was in a sari with long hair. The ID card was a previous card with another name, and she looked different. So he said, "You robbed this from somebody and come, get out from here. We know what people like you are." And you can imagine the rest of the story.
Correct.
So itself that, what are the forms like? What do they have in the forms? Do we have a space for people to fill out the identity they want, or we just go by Mr. and Mrs.? So in many little things like that, where there is sometimes this intent is good, we have to just check what is happening with our policies. What is the policy against sexual harassment at the workplace? How inclusive is it? What is our infrastructure like? Do we have toilets that people can use across genders? What are our benefits like? Like, do same-sex partners get the same benefit? What is our policy and practices like? What is the processes like? So, for example, if I say, because people can't talk about the same-sex relationship. So if a guy says, "My wife is ill and in hospital," everybody empathizes and says, "Okay, of course he'll need time off, he has to look after his wife. That's naturally has to do it." But because a man may not be able to talk about his same-sex relationship, he might have to say, "My friend is ill." You see, he can't say, "My partner is ill." And if a friend is ill, you may give 1 day of leave. What happens the second day? You say, "Why is he taking 3 days if it's just a friend?" But you can't explain that you're the partner, you're the main primary caregiver for that person.
Yeah.
So you see, so a lot of these practices, processes, the culture of the organization, what's the kind of jokes we crack? What's the kind of conversation we have? Do we make statements like, "Oh, but that's so gay," Or
Yes.
like a lesbian woman said that she came out at work once, and after she came out at work, and and we have to understand that coming out, that means declaring your identity, is a process. People may not come out to everybody together at the same time. Some people do. They may just put out the newspapers, but often you might come out to your family first, you may come out to your friends first. So if you come out to one circle, are you sure that they will protect your confidentiality? Are you sure that they won't gossip about you? So all these are concerns that are very, very alive even today in corporate India.